The homeless man wasn't asking for money. He wasn't begging. He was staring directly at a billionaire worth over $50 billion. And smiling like he knew a secret nobody else knew. 3 days later, the billionaire canceled a $1 billion deal. And the reason was that homeless man. New York. A freezing December evening. Traffic crawled through Manhattan as black SUVs escorted billionaire Marcus Reed to one of the biggest business meetings of his life. At 58 years old, Marcus had everything. Private jets. Luxury penthouses. A company worth billions. Magazine covers. Power. Respect. But there was one thing money couldn't buy. Peace. For months, Marcus had barely slept. His board wanted another massive acquisition. Investors demanded growth. The media watched his every move. And somewhere beneath all the success, he felt empty. His driver stopped at a red light. That's when Marcus noticed him. A homeless man sitting on a bench. Dirty coat. Gray beard. Worn-out shoes. Yet somehow, he looked calm. Happier than most people Marcus knew. The man suddenly turned and looked directly into the SUV. Their eyes met. Then the stranger smiled. Not a desperate smile. Not a hopeful smile. A knowing smile. Marcus felt strangely uncomfortable. The light turned green. The convoy moved. But he couldn't stop thinking about it. Hours later, after signing documents worth hundreds of millions of dollars, the homeless man's face still haunted him. Why? Marcus didn't know. The next morning, he found himself thinking about that smile again. By lunchtime, curiosity won. He told security to drive him back to the same location. The man was still there. Marcus stepped out. People immediately began taking photos. Phones appeared everywhere. But he ignored them. He walked straight to the homeless man. "Do I know you?" Marcus asked. The man laughed softly. "No. Then why were you looking at me like that yesterday?" The stranger studied him. Then he asked a question Marcus wasn't expecting. "Are you happy?" Marcus frowned. "What kind of question is that?" "A simple one." Silence. For the first time in years, Marcus didn't have an answer. The homeless man nodded. "That's what I thought." Marcus felt irritated. "Listen, you don't know anything about me." The stranger smiled again. "I know enough." Something about those words hit harder than they should have. Marcus reached into his pocket. He pulled out several $100 bills. The homeless man refused them. Marcus blinked. Nobody ever refused his money. "Why?" The stranger shrugged. "You need it more than I do." Marcus stared at him. For a moment, the city noise seemed to disappear. Then the man stood. "You're carrying something heavy." "What?" "Guilt." Marcus froze. His heart skipped. Because there was something. A secret. A mistake from years ago. One decision he had buried beneath billions of dollars and decades of success. A decision nobody knew about. Nobody. Yet somehow this stranger's words landed exactly where they hurt. Before Marcus could ask another question, the homeless man walked away. And disappeared into the crowd. That night Marcus couldn't sleep. Again. But this time it wasn't business pressure keeping him awake. It was a memory. A memory he had spent 25 years trying to forget. And the next morning, something arrived at his office that changed everything. A package. No return address. No sender name. Only 3 handwritten words on the front. "I remember everything." Marcus nearly dropped it. Marcus stared at the package. His hands trembled. That never happened. Not during market crashes. Not during hostile takeovers. Not even when competitors tried destroying his company. But this was different. Slowly, he opened the box. Inside was a photograph. An old photograph. 25 years old. The moment Marcus saw it, all the color drained from his face. It showed 2 young men standing beside a broken-down pickup truck on a lonely highway. One was Marcus. The other was Ethan Carter. His best friend. The man he had abandoned. The memory came rushing back. 25 years earlier, Marcus and Ethan were struggling entrepreneurs chasing a dream. They had nothing. No investors. No connections. No money. Just ambition. Then opportunity arrived. A wealthy investor agreed to meet them. One meeting could change everything. But on the drive there, disaster struck. Their truck crashed during a storm. Ethan was badly injured. Marcus had a choice. Stay with his friend. Or leave and make the meeting. The investor had warned them. No second chances. Marcus chose the meeting. He convinced himself help would arrive soon. He convinced himself Ethan would be okay. He convinced himself it was necessary. The meeting made him rich. The company exploded. His fortune grew. And over the years, Marcus buried the guilt beneath success. But Ethan never came home. He died that night. Marcus never told anyone the full story. Never. Then he noticed another item inside the package. A note. It contained only one address. Nothing else. That evening, Marcus went alone. The address led to a small church on the edge of the city. Rain poured from the sky. Inside, only a few people sat quietly. Then Marcus saw him. The homeless man. Sitting in the front row. Waiting. Marcus walked toward him. "Who are you?" he demanded. The stranger stood slowly. For a moment neither spoke. Then the man reached into his coat and handed Marcus an old silver necklace. Marcus gasped. He recognized it instantly. It had belonged to Ethan. His best friend. Tears filled Marcus's eyes. "How do you have this?" The homeless man swallowed hard. "Because Ethan was my father." The room went silent. Marcus felt like the ground disappeared beneath him. The stranger continued. "My name is Daniel." Marcus couldn't breathe. Daniel. The son Ethan never got to raise. The son who grew up without a father. The son whose life had been shaped by one decision made on a stormy night. Marcus expected anger. Hatred. Revenge. Instead, Daniel said something unexpected. "I spent years wanting to hate you." Marcus lowered his head. "You should. But hate ruined my life more than what happened." Daniel's voice cracked. "So I came here for one reason." Marcus looked up. "Why?" Daniel stepped closer. "To see if the guilt had punished you enough." Silence. Heavy. Painful silence. Then Marcus finally broke. For the first time in decades, he cried. Not as a billionaire. Not as a CEO. Just as a man carrying regret. Over the next year, Marcus quietly funded schools, shelters, scholarships, and community programs in Ethan's name. Not for publicity. Not for headlines. For healing. And Daniel helped him build them. Together. Because forgiveness did something success never could. It gave both men freedom. Years later, when reporters asked Marcus the greatest investment he ever made, they expected him to name a company. A stock. A billion-dollar acquisition. Instead, he smiled. And thought about a homeless man on a bench. A man who changed everything. Because sometimes the richest person in the room isn't the one with the most money. It's the one carrying the least regret.